Tá? Consegues ouvir-me? Bom dia, caríssimos, bom dia. Eu sou Walter Paulo, vou ser o moderador desta sessão. Temos só um pequeno atraso devido a um evento que aconteceu naquela sala, mas já está a terminar.
para longe, para cima. O futuro, olhe para frente, para longe, para cima.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Em 3 dias de conferências com oradores nacionais e internacionais, mais de 100 expositores e muito entretenimento. Inscreva-se já no Angotic 2023, porque o futuro já chegou. Uma iniciativa do Ministério das Telecomunicações, Tecnologias de Informação e Comunicação Social, Governo de Angola.
Right now, scientists study.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Olhe para frente, para longe, para cima. O futuro chegou com conectividade e modernização tecnológica. Angotic 2023, o maior evento de tecnologia de Angola, regressa em junho. Venha descobrir.
Português, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Canal 1, português. Português, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Português. Estamos em dia, conseguem pegar? Teste. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Scientists studying coral reefs are collaborating on Dell Technologies' most intelligent PCs, powered by Intel vPro. Our secure portfolio of devices are empowering scientists to gather valuable insights from tourist photos. So protecting coral reefs for future generations is within reach. Shelves. Shelves that know what taste buds want. Shelves smart enough to see, sense, react, restock. So caramel swirl is always there for the taking.
What will you do? What will you change? Will you make something better? Will you create something entirely new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with the tools skills and expertise you need to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us.
There's an innovator in all of us. And your brightest ideas can come in an instant. We'll stop at nothing to provide intelligent technology that optimizes user experience, strengthens security, and maximizes your storage. So you can bring your greatest ideas to life. Confidently.
Está à procura de um espaço para a produção do seu podcast? No MS Studio Podcast encontras o espaço ideal para a produção do seu podcast em vídeo com o mais alto padrão de qualidade do mercado. Possuímos um estúdio climatizado e com tratamento acústico. Temos equipamentos de última geração de alta qualidade, as melhores câmeras, microfones e mesas digitais. Localizado num ponto estratégico da cidade de Luanda, temos profissionais especializados para oferecer as orientações necessárias e desenvolver o seu projeto. Escolha o seu horário, a cor do cenário, adicione a sua marca na TV e estamos prontos para gravar ou transmitir nas plataformas da sua escolha. Junte-se a nós e seja o grande impulsionador da sua marca. Faça já a sua reserva. E a MS Studio Podcast é você quem faz.
The future starts now. We create sustainable IT solutions that help you look at the world from a different perspective. Imagine running a zero-carbon footprint business with energy-efficient data center solutions. We believe that advanced technology has the power to create anything and change everything. Welcome to now.
Bem-vindos à nova TPA. Uma televisão moderna e equipada com tecnologia de ponta. TPA. Somos todos nós!
Consegue sentir? Alguma coisa está diferente. O futuro já chegou. Com a conectividade e a modernização tecnológica. As novas tendências da tecnologia vão estar no Angotic 2023. Entre 12 a 14 de junho, venha ao CCTA em Talatona ouvir a professora Danielle Wood do MIT, Robert Van Zyl da Space Africa, Farghani Tambeayuk do Facebook, Camille Wardrop-Elaine da Brightest Stars Foundation, Laurent Fresh da Airbus, Fiseha Mekuria da Universidade de Malmo, Omar Serrochni, da Autoridade de Proteção de Dados de Marrocos, Emma Theophilus, Vice-Ministra da Tecnologia da Informação e Comunicação da Namíbia e dezenas de outros grandes oradores nacionais e internacionais. Inscreva-se já no Angotic 2023, porque o futuro já chegou. Uma iniciativa do Governo de Angola.
O Angotic 2023 não é só conectividade e tecnologia, não é só empreendedorismo e inovação, também música, muita música. Africanita e os DJs Paulo Alves e Márcio Alves, Toti Samed e Jorge Sky. E o Rui Orlando. Venha ao Angotic e atualiza-te sobre tudo, até sobre a música. Inscrições em www.angotic.org. Angotic 2023, uma iniciativa do Governo de Angola. No mercado angolano desde 2013, com cerca de 200 colaboradores, promovemos dia após dia a consolidação do DNA da empresa, bem como o nosso posicionamento no país, sendo os nossos principais serviços os seguintes: elaboração do plano diretor de informática estratégico, sistemas de gestão integrados, conectividade, cibersegurança, serviços de consultoria e formações. Experimente as nossas ferramentas de trabalho com a vasta gama de soluções integradas que temos para oferecer. Tistec, Crescemos com a África, indo além da transformação digital. Olhe para frente, para longe, para cima. O futuro chegou com a conectividade e modernização tecnológica. Angotic 2023, o maior evento de tecnologia de Angola, regressa em junho. Venha descobrir todas as tendências da tecnologia em 3 dias de conferências com oradores nacionais e internacionais, mais de 100 expositores e muito entretenimento. Inscreva-se já no Angotic 2023, porque o futuro já chegou. Uma iniciativa do Ministério das Telecomunicações, Tecnologias de Informação e Comunicação Social, Governo de Angola.
Right now, scientists studying coral reefs are collaborating on Dell Technologies' most intelligent PCs, powered by Intel V Pro. Our secure portfolio of devices are empowering scientists to gather valuable insights from tourist photos. So protecting coral reefs for future generations is within reach.
Shelves. Shelves that know what taste buds want. Shelves smart enough to see, sense, react, restock. So Caramel Swirl is always there for the taking.
What will you do?
make something better? Will you create something entirely new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with the tools and expertise you need to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us.
There's an innovator in all of us. And your brightest ideas can come in an instant. We'll stop at nothing to provide intelligent technology that optimizes user experience, strengthens security, and maximizes your storage. So you can bring your greatest ideas to life. Confidently.
Está à procura de um espaço para a produção do seu podcast? No MS Studio Podcast encontras o espaço ideal para a produção do seu podcast em vídeo com o mais alto padrão de qualidade do mercado. Possuímos um estúdio climatizado e com tratamento acústico. Temos equipamentos de última geração de alta qualidade, as melhores câmeras, microfones e mesas digitais. Localizado num ponto estratégico da cidade de Luanda, temos profissionais especializados para oferecer as orientações necessárias e desenvolver o seu projeto. Escolha o seu horário, a cor do cenário, adicione a sua marca na TV e estamos prontos para gravar ou transmitir nas plataformas da sua escolha. Junte-se a nós e seja o grande impulsionador da sua marca. Faça já a sua reserva. E a MS Studio Podcast é você quem faz.
Bem-vindos à nova TPA. Uma televisão moderna e equipada com tecnologia de ponta. TPA. Somos todos nós!
Consegue sentir? Alguma coisa está diferente. O futuro já chegou. Com a conectividade e a modernização tecnológica. As novas tendências da tecnologia vão estar no Angotic 2023. Entre 12 a 14 de junho, venha ao CCTA em Talatona ouvir a professora Danielle Wood do MIT, Robert Van Zyl da Space Africa, Farghani Tambeayuk do Facebook, Camille Wardrop-Elaine da Brightest Stars Foundation, Laurent Fresh da Airbus, Fiseha Mekuria da Universidade de Malmo, Omar Serrochni, da Autoridade de Proteção de Dados de Marrocos, Emma Theophilus, Vice-Ministra da Tecnologia da Informação e Comunicação da Namíbia e dezenas de outros grandes oradores nacionais e internacionais. Inscreva-se já no Angotic 2023, porque o futuro já chegou. Uma iniciativa do Governo de Angola. O Angotic 2023 não é só conectividade e tecnologia, não é só empreendedorismo e inovação, também é música, muita música. Africanita e os DJs Paulo Alves e Márcio Alves, Toti Samed e George Sky. E Rui Orlando. Venha ao Angotic e atualiza-te sobre tudo, até sobre a música angolana. Inscrições em www.angotic.org. Angotic 2023, uma iniciativa do Governo de Angola.
No mercado angolano desde 2013, com cerca de 200 colaboradores, promovemos dia após dia a consolidação do DNA da empresa, bem como o nosso posicionamento no país, sendo os nossos principais serviços os seguintes: elaboração de plano diretor de informática estratégico, sistemas de gestão integrados, conectividade, cibersegurança, serviços de consultoria e formações. Experimenta as nossas ferramentas de trabalho e a vasta gama de soluções integradas que temos para oferecer. Tistec. Crescemos com a África, indo além da transformação digital.
Olhe para frente, para longe, para cima. O futuro chegou com a conectividade e modernização tecnológica. Angotic 2023, o maior evento de tecnologia de Angola, regressa em junho. Venha descobrir todas as tendências da tecnologia em 3 dias de conferências, com oradores nacionais e internacionais, mais de 100 expositores e muito entretenimento. Inscreva-se já no Angotic 2023, porque o futuro já chegou. Uma iniciativa do Ministério das Telecomunicações, Tecnologias de Informação e Comunicação Social, Governo de Angola.
pensava que... Oh, boa. Eu pensava que tinha chegado atrasado, mas ainda não. Enquanto não começa, só para quebrar aqui um pouco o gelo, ok? Antes de mais, obrigado por terem vindo à Angotic 2023. Meu nome é Daniel Sapateiro, estou aqui na qualidade de economista e também ligado ao Ministério das Finanças Públicas. Sou professor de Finanças Públicas, etc. Mas o tema aqui não é esse. Vamos lá tocar na arrecadação fiscal, sobre os negócios eletrónicos, do comércio eletrónico, das transações eletrónicas e sobre o nosso portanto, perfil que temos tributário fiscal angolano, nomeadamente sobre as transações e sobre a tributação, sobre a faturação. Mas o que nos traz aqui é mesmo o comércio eletrónico, a sua segurança, nomeadamente...
Security, goods and services, some prices. Most of you have imported to Angola and many other digital platforms, as well as international logistics, and many other values which goes beyond what we think it is possible to pay for a painting with high value goods. It is not discussable. The SMEs, they should really bet on the marketing, digital commerce, in order to increase their billing and increase the number of clients. So in this ice-breaking phase, I think we are just to start. I'm not the moderator, and thank you all for coming, and I hope you all enjoy it in an inclusive way, and we may have this Q&A session in order to have all doubts clarified, and we do have tests to read encyclopedias. As I was saying, you can go to that platform where you can find everything and something else. So Mr. Google, you can find there everything. So and again, thank you. So you are here with us, and feel yourself comfortable. Good morning, everyone. My name is Walter Paulo. I'm the moderator of this session where we'll talk about the opportunities of SME. I have with us Moussa Traore, who is one of our speakers. And we also have Dr. who introduced himself, Dr. Daniel Sapateiro, who is an economist and is also work for the Ministry of Finance. What will we have? We will have two moments. The first moment is of a presentation where the speakers, they will present the concepts, the NFTs concept you had, then you have an opportunity to ask questions or to interact in a better way. Just to start and for better understanding, I will ask Dr. Moussa Traore to introduce regarding to the tool and the platform to understand what advantages that we do have, what security that we have with the source of these tools. Please, could you give us more insight on that?
Everyone, so I am Moussa Traoré. I'm CEO of SAR Analytics France. So SAR Analytics is an Ivory Coast company. We are working in cybersecurity and analytics, and We have opened recently a subsidiary in France to target the European market and international market. About the question itself, so what is NFT? So NFT stands for non-fungible tokens. So it is a kind of digital asset that is used mainly by artists and the creator. This is why NFT is so well known today. So it is used by those people to create digital art, but this is not the only usage of NFT. So what makes NFTs so unique and so interesting? So I am a bit technical. I am cyber security specialist, so I will give you insight on the technical part of NFT, so how it works. So NFT, one of the main characteristics of NFT is that you can use an NFT to prove the authenticity of a digital asset, and you can also prove that you are the real owner of these assets. So this is why it is very used in the digital art domain, because artists can easily create the art. They can create it like NFT, and this NFT they can later on have royalties on those NFTs. So when it sold this art, it can implement a kind of algorithm inside of it. So when the art will be sold again in the second market, so they can always gain a kind of royalties. So this also makes NFT very interesting for the digital art. And as you know, a few years ago, the most expensive NFT sold in the world was evaluated to around more than $60 million. So this gives you a kind of estimate of what people can gain when they invest in NFTs. One last thing that I want also to say about NFT. So I have talked a lot about the artists, so how they make money with the NFT, but this is not the only application for NFT. You can have NFT, for example, in real estate field also. So we see a lot of African countries that are starting thinking about it. So they have many conflict about this kind of real estate, because people lack way to verify that something that they are buying is really authentic, and they are purchasing it from the real owner of this asset. So this is also one of the other applications that you can use NFT for.
Dr. Musa, sabemos também que a nível da...
We also know at the level of teaching, we may also able to use NFT. How does it work? And how we could really realize that the pages should not be cloned. We have talked about the asset in art. With an algorithm, we can really detect if it is authentic or not. How could it be applied in a teaching, or how are we able to use these tools a part of real estate and many other assets?
Question. So how it works mainly? So NFT, when you have an NFT, it is a digital asset associated with metadata, and those metadata are stored in a blockchain. So the blockchain can be, for example, Ethereum blockchain, which is the most used. And this blockchain has some characteristics that can be used to check for the authenticity and also give a kind of traceability about the different action that are done using this NFT. So because the blockchain is open, it is a public blockchain, so anyone that gained this NFT can check the authenticity using digital signature, and the digital signature will help them to validate the authenticity of the blockchain. So how can this use in the teaching environment? So first, it really depends. So in the teaching, for example, you can have a kind of the different diplomas, for example, can be integrated into the blockchain, and this will ease the way like employers or people can check for the authenticity of the courses of one student, for example. You can also have a lot of things that you can implement into the blockchain. You can put inside of it the different certification skills. You can create the digital badges to, for example, certify that a student has reached a certain skill set in his learning path, etc.
Doutor Sapateiro, ia virar. Doutor Sapateiro,
I will now ask you. I'd like to know from Dr. Zapatero at the level of oversighting how the government should ensure that these transactions pay tax. How could you make this control? How far you looking to the African reality, these type of transactions could really help the economic development? Again, good morning, everyone. Sorry, my voice is not okay due to the dry season that we are. $16 million in any part of the world is a very big amount. So in Angola, the same. The transactions of this amount should go to formal financial system. I mean, bank. And the banks, they need to follow a set of dispositions, provisions. The bank, its conformity, compliance, but above all, the banking oversighting. And it is made through central bank. But we also have many other entities that are around of the financing system, and they also have to oversight that this type of transaction should fulfill a set of requirements. What are these entities? UIF, financial, FIU, Financial Information Financial Unit, IFU. Who is selling the dollars? The $16 million, $500,000. So we have the one that proposed, which is legal, has all paperwork. So these NFTs, films, actions, paints, they may be NFTs. And then the origin of the money. If I have to pay this transaction, we need to have a document. If a bank does a transaction, if the Angola bank regulate how much money we can keep it at home, and in which extent we have a lot of filters. The central bank, IFU, so $16 million transferred from one bank account without any tracking. You go for ATM. All these gives a trace. Today we can't vanish from the map. This is just a bracket. Maybe you all know, you might not know, Osama bin Laden was the head of a terrorist group called Al-Qaeda. Abbas used to be kept in mountains in Afghanistan, but he did not take any electronic device, to be hidden, escaping all satellite. So in that time, U.S. used to use plane just to capture the radio frequencies. So today we can't run from that. To say that at the taxation level, the General Tax Administration has launched something that we call our intention, the industrial tax transformed. I have written, last month, a tax collective people tax. As example, in Mozambique, in Cape Verde has got. That's why Cape Verde has a parity with euro. So it needs to take this reform, the collective people tax has its maximization, the electronic commerce, the industrial tax with its reform does not have a chapter dealing with electronic commerce, has got import and export. If an entity provide the services or sell a goods to an entity in Angola, fiscal resident in Angola, so has the must to retain of 6.5, which is on the bill. So we need to have a paperwork. If it is just enough to increase the fiscal collection and improve the public finance, no, I don't think that is okay. We should move to have a single tax that should comprise the electronic commerce. So the small kitchen, the small company in a logic of SMEs, small and medium companies, with less than 10 million swans today, they invest on the social media. Probably they purchase credit card. You know what I'm saying? To promote sponsored links. They are so far doing so. Can you imagine medium and big company, and where the tax administration considers a great contributor. So we need to broaden the taxation base. Those that pay, continue paying, and those ones that are not yet in a fiscal administration, so we need to broaden. So it should include the business of the company. Most of them, they do not have electronic shops. They do not have physical spaces. They have just digital spaces. They used to import cargoes from South Africa, Portugal, United States. They are intermediary. They import on virtual platform of import, storing, and they deliver to the client without having paying costs with warehouse, shopping, and so on. So in this way, there will be a public consultation, and will culminate with legislators, the MPs of National Assembly, on Article 134 of the Constitution, is the imposition that only the National Assembly should approve. By the time, should also be friendly in order to make us, let's use the following daily expression, should not chase out the hunting. Imagine to go to Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, DRC. Why? Because there we have a friendly oversighting process. Let me tell you the following. The future war, that will not military Ballic war that we are experiencing in Ukraine. So number one war will be because water resources, Nilo River, Zaire River, that will be the source of future war. And there will be a friendly, the issue of oversighting. Within the oversighting, let's imagine 21 provinces, I think the administrative reform, 504 municipalities. So the provinces could fight themselves in order to call or attract investors, because my province has minor oversighting or friendly oversighting better than the other neighboring provinces. That will be the fight with Zambia, DRC, Namibia. They will really see that our fiscal process is better than the other countries. So Angola need to start thinking that diversified economy goes also in implementing good oversighting process. So our people, they have until 24 years. We have a pyramid almost perfect, which is in comparison with the Europe pyramid, which is upside down. And we have young people that are eager to deal with new technologies, software, hardware. So the end of this month, we'll have version 5, iPhone 15 in September. Could you imagine all these issues linked to electronic commerce and due to fiscal, to help to create more business, more companies, and to have friendly taxations in order to make other come and implement their companies and to start doing fiscal paradise offshore that have saying, which have the Holland, Luxembourg, Malta. These are offshores that have very low taxations on the companies, and they do really with the low taxation compared to Portugal, Spain, that have 25% or 30% over the companies. So just to give you an example, in Holland, there are cases where the taxation goes until 5% for the company. So this is the way, this is the right path. I think I have answered your question. Indeed, because of time, I will now launch the floor to audience. I will ask anyone in this audience, please can hands up, then you get the microphone, and please, you can ask your question. Please, could you be precise and concise in order to gain time? Introduce yourself. My name is Inaldo Campo. You have mention of NFTs, and they have mentioned the blockchains so currently exist. So today we have a lot of blockchains. I'd like to know currently what blockchain is much more practicable to acquire NFTs, because we know that most of these blockchain has transaction cost higher, and when we go to a digital sector, we are prone to be hit by cybercrime. You are also expert on that. How has NFTs and cryptocurrency user could we escape from cyber attacks?
This question, there is no easy question. So I will not tell you, for example, go for Bitcoin or go for such kind of thing. But I can give you some kind of tips that you can look into a blockchain. So blockchain, we have three main characteristics for a blockchain. So you have the first thing when you are looking for a blockchain, you need to look about the decentralization. So it really depends. So you will see, like, for example, the blockchain, how the infrastructure is done and how decentralized this blockchain. You will also have another characteristic about the scalability. So how huge is the network? Because when the network is very huge, you are more confident about the perennity of the blockchain. And the last one is about security. So security, it is easy for you. There is many open source blockchain. So if you look, for example, for the blockchain, you can have access to everything inside of it. So, and there is a huge community of security specialists that always audit those kind of blockchain. So at any time you are more confident about the security of this kind of open source system. So there is no magic blockchain. Unfortunately, I cannot recommend you one specific blockchain. But yeah, if you follow these tips, I think that you can go for one that suits your use case.
Good morning. Domingos Enrique is my name. My question is, what is NFTs? And what is the structure at national level in Angola, and in order to reflect on our products? I am a sale manager. For example, in this situation, how could we reflect on our banking operations, our sellings, and our national bank accounts? Although the international experience is also valid. Question number one. I'd like this forum when we talk about cryptocurrency, and then we go out of there, we do not have any basic environment. We talk about exchange market, then we do not have housing or houses. Sometimes we are here like, this is a criticism. We are in the market like we are in the first world. No, we have a country with basic needs. We have a problem with savings. We are talking here with things, I don't know, in the first world, they discuss all about that. What I have to tell you, we need to put our feet on the ground. In order to have a product in physical shop or in a virtual, first of all, I need to have a company. And we are one of the country of the world with more and more entrepreneurship through our social economic situation. But this entrepreneur, which is I'm not favorable, I'm against this kind of entrepreneurship, don't take me bad. These entrepreneurs of informality doesn't take us a trust to go in the blockchain to sell our products. I do not have a company. I do not have a security for health. I do not pay tax. I do not have a discount for social security. I do not have a report for the last 3 years. If the company has this lifespan, if I have products that I can tell you, this product has been created by me, these services were created by me, and I can really brand them. So I go to the right institute, YAPI, in order to register this brand, to say that this brand belongs to my company. This is my brand. If you go to ANIP from Ministry of Industry, beside of this, we have BPC headquarters, and there you may do this process to say that this, I need a brand of this product. Then to know well your product, explore your product. You have to go for a feasibility study to understand the competitiveness, and then obviously to have professionals that can really boost your brand in the digital market. And if your product does not have a value, then the value is given by offer and demand. My ambition standing in Amazon or in a blockchain with a product with a high value, so I need to have background. I need also have the opinion of our client. We need to come here to invest in a banking, to talk with the potential clients. It is a process. That's why I have said most of the time we want to go on the top of the hill, Everest mountain. So it's legal to have this ambition, but we may not go through elevator. We can't come up by lift. We need to go by stair. And by stair takes time. And sometimes our investors are not very patient. And we need to give time in order to make things gain maturity. When we look to this new technology, we look that technology has an elevator or gift. Cryptocurrency, blockchain has an elevator of the path that we don't want to take because we have a certain mindset. It is not general, but most of our people, we need things rush. Today. Tomorrow, no, I don't want to do this business. So, brothers and friends, sisters, business takes time. Sometimes we fall down, then we stand. So we need to cultivate since the young age. Yesterday, people, they have a former Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Baltazar Diogo. The reform of this country must take place in education in order to change this paradigm of the youth. For this even to come, because technology, cryptocurrency, and many other. But if we host a forum of education, on education, many of you could not come. This is the way of the country. Is it important to say that? Yes, it's real. Yesterday, artificial intelligence. Today we can foresee through the algorithm. So we need also to see, according to my viewpoint, the sense of realism. Investors on cryptocurrency, just to say the cryptocurrency does not have guarantees. does not have gold bars in central banks. In case of devaluation of a currency, the central bank may sell the golden bar in order to balance the currency. So the digital currency does not have assets behind of that. It is important to mention. Why? In order to help those ones that are investing 20 or 25,000 dollar in a Bitcoin, we're expecting that at any time it can really goes up until 50, where does not have any single government of the world, does not have any UN organization, no IMF, there is no international laws or act that will replace the fall down of any digital currency, Bitcoin or any other. So you need to have these notions to see that we do not have any guarantee of invested capital. It is important to mention that. So I am an investor and I have the risk profile. Okay, so the varying of investments are bigger when the risk is bigger. So the time deposit has much more remuneration than on a stock exchange in real estate market. However, the countries and the government and the legislator, they must be attentive in order to take this opportunity to acquire more revenue, to control the financial flow, something that I have not mentioned. So which is important is the control of money laundering, the origin of the money. Sometimes may seems that from a legitimate or legal purpose for purchasing service and goods, we could really contribute for the wealthy for a certain group linked to drug trafficking, children trafficking, organ trafficking, terrorism, even for military and paramilitary groups, what they can fight a war. We are now experiencing small war, the third world country with the resources, DRC, facing the war. So sponsored by this kind of money laundering. So the digital currency is also in this group because it is not demandable the proof where do I get this money from salary, heritage, gambling, casinos, or many other kind of gambling. So attention to these issues, and that's all I have to say. Thank you. Just a question for Dr. Zapatero. Yapi is no longer in that building, is now close to the portal on the Ministry of Commerce, fourth floor. I will just introduce. So the electronic commerce is more than Amazon, AliExpress. So we have a marketplace. So used is a marketplace within the social network. But do exist other, even for Angola, which is a big market. We have the marketplace in Angolan domains. To say that it's easier through this business marketplace in electronic commerce here in Angola, tax evasion, because we do not have in Angola what Cape Verde, Brazil, so the fiscal note. I will just carry out a single cell. If I don't want tax evade, I need to create a company, a fiscal number, a license. It's a high cost. Nobody is willing to go to do a single selling less than $1,000. I will not tell you. Some bank they request so that bank account should be this minimum value. So as you are Minister of Finance official, why Angola doesn't have a similar thing?
Yes, so what are the processes for minting the NFT in the blockchain, or if there are any like tools we can use to prove the uniqueness of our product ownership on the blockchain? Thank you.
Yeah, so there is different techniques. So when, for example, someone wants to create a digital asset, so when you want to create a digital asset, for example, there is two things. So you will have the blockchain itself. So you will need to choose what blockchain you want to implement. In general, it is Ethereum. And you will also have a lot of tools on internet and a lot of marketplace that can help you easily design those kind of NFTs. So I cannot tell you a name, but for example, if you tap this easily on internet to Google, you will see like those different tools and the marketplace, and they have already inside of them the kind of tool that can help you create those kind of NFTs. And when you create the NFTs, by default, you can publish that in their marketplace, where investors can browse the different arts available, and they can make an offer, for example.
Ficou aqui uma questão por se responder. Estou sapateiro. Por que Angola não tem esse tipo de...
Dr. Zapatero, why do we do not have this system to control? We need to go since 1975 until 2014, we have experienced a paradigm of the absence of taxation. So in 1992, there was a change of economic and political system from mono-party to multi-party. I mean, more parties to go for election. That was 1991, and for the central economy or centralized economy, socialist, for the market economy, private sector should be the engine of the economy. So we did not experience that. In 2014, there was the implementation of a set of codes, general laws, that came and changed this paradigm. The industrial tax, the tax on the capital application, etc., etc. That was indeed the beginning. Just to say, my friend, you are not used to pay water supply tax, electricity, so now things will change. There was a fiscal pardon, if you do not remember, all debt until 2012 has been pardoning. There was a median reform that was law 7/19, VAT law, and where I will enter. The VAT in the English version, that was a kickoff, or in the future we'll have in Angola. We don't know when, but this is an issue belonging to those ones that are dealing with. So mid, short, long-term IRS. In the United States, in Cape Verde, we have IRS. That's why they have parity with euro. What is IRS? Is imposed to the singular people, where in the future which contributes for them, will contribute of not having accountant, count revisors and auditors, because the data crossing. So now we are talking about artificial intelligence, and data analyst will cross information, so the taxes will be filled. It exists for a long time in Portugal. Someone goes in your profile, will download your IRS, will just confirm the data. If there's discrepancies, it's really very easy. Why? Because the banks sent the interest rates that they have paid, the global for AGT, the Tax General Administration. What will happen? So in our tax, in our property, whether working revenue, real estate, will be all comprised. What does it mean? That we do not have this condition yet. That's why I was telling you, we are talking about cryptocurrency. How could we put our product in the blockchain? We have a token, non-fundable tokens, where we live in the streets. We do not have post services working, where tax administration will send our letters. We do not have yet the real estate registered. In order to make the tax administration to collect the tax, it's a process. When it will happen such a things. But I know this neighbor, his salary is 100,000 kwanza and he's driving a Lexus, so the revenue of a family or a household will be or not compatible to the lifestyle, his lifestyle. So it will bring very sad moments. How will it start? VAT is the beginning. This informality will make, for example, the economic operators will not issue bills. They will not issue bills according to the presidential decree of 19, which is equivalent papers. But when we start, this is through to the needs. We just start acting due to audit. So 2 June, we increased the gasoline price. When there was a need, we know our contributed, and they will start to have their revenue declared. And compared what they have as a property, we will reach to this situation where the citizen, I will tell it in different way. The big brother of AGT, tax administration, big brother, knows all about us. We need to be ready. Those living in other countries, including in Africa, they know that what you do has got transactions, PayPal's, electronic. We are talking about electronic transactions. And there is an entity that do this work and analyze this property. Thank you, Dr. Zapatero. So we have started with 1 hour late. We are now above the time. I will now ask Musa to to conclude by clarifying what is an NFT and what recommendation that you could give to us, those we are in Angola, how we can do these transactions with the desirable quality. Please, you have the floor.
I would say that, those last years, we have witnessed a lot of new technologies like blockchain, NFTs, and not only those, okay? There is so many things, cloud, etc. And especially regarding blockchain and NFTs, because you have the blockchain that is a kind of database that will be used to store the different information about all the assets like NFTs. So NFTs today is emerging, and Africa, not only Angola, should really invest in this emerging technology to master those and to also apply those to our own use cases. Okay, I was talking about the case of real estate, for example, which is something that really happened a lot in Africa, especially in Ivory Coast. And the government is really starting to think about how those kind of technology can help sort those issues. So my recommendation will be, I think that we have already represent of the minister, that this show the engagement of the government about NFT. This is a good start, but the action need to follow. So you need to invest also in the research and the development, and also work with company from the private sectors that can also help you work on those kind of things. So there is many different application of NFTs, and so the field is very open, and I really encourage that event like Angotic is also a good thing. So it also helps the public to know more about those kind of technology and be always updated about what to do and what not to do. Yeah, this is mine.
Okay.
I'm Brown Horse to say thank you, and I'd like for a round of applause, please. Once again, I'd like to thank you for your presence, and I'd like to finish with this activity. Thank you.
From Côte d'Ivoire.
In this context, while we wait as it restores the internet services, please let me know when the internet services is okay so that we can start the presentation. Or I could start with in a short way we could advance with the presenters. We give the ladies the opportunity first. We'd like to make a short So to start, the internet connection has been restored. So Jesse, in your point of view, how are we with resources used technologically to explore tourism in Angola? And what is being done in other countries? Okay, thank you very much for the invitation. It's an honor to be here. In Angola, we're in a phase of development. We know that the technology has been what makes everything easier and we need it in many areas of the economy, and tourism is one of them. Information is in the middle of tourism, and everybody thinks that tourism starts when we find a new place. But tourism starts in the planning, in the need to know a new place. And during this process we meet TICS, which is internet, technology actually. When we think of what to do or where to visit, previously we used to use close people to tell us how it was, how the trip has been, and how it happened. Now we have TICS to help us with this. We have a whole lot of information about points and touristic places with details, and we have online reservations. Besides online reservation, if it's an outside country, we have taken online. Another interesting point that we know that is part of the information is that now we have the GPS. In Angola, we use Google Maps and many other interesting apps. Besides the Google Maps, we can use a transport that helps the people for the dislocation in the tourism. And now we have a lot of applications that help us with the dislocation. See all of this, we can see that the technology is in the middle of the tourism, especially in Angola, that we already have all these users. Thank you, Jesse. Jess Madalena, thank you for your contribute. Annie.
Do you feel?
I feel very good and
Very good
privileged
Angola,
to be
right?
here in beautiful Angola for the first time.
Excelente clima, excelente país para turismo.
Excellent country, excellent tourism. Do you agree with me? I would like to understand in the level of Dell Technologies, today over the world, in level of services, do you have applications and technological applications for tourism? Tell us which type of resources can be used for the development of tourism that us in Angola can use for our economy.
So as Jesse said earlier, every industry in the world today is going through a digital transformation. And technology is at the core of this transformation. Everything is about technology today. And we as Dell Technologies, we are the enabler for this technology. So, in the basic sense, you have to have good ICT infrastructure to start, because all the applications, the nice applications that we talk about, whether check-in or e-visa, they need very good infrastructure to run on first before you go to the next level of advancing. In Dell, we provide this infrastructure that enables you to process things. So if I can maybe talk about some of the technologies that we have seen, which I think this is happening in the world, So Angola should be looking at deploying this. A basic example is augmented reality and virtual reality. This is becoming part of any tourism industry today in the advanced worlds because it allows you to virtually visit a place before you see it. There's big competition on where should I go. Somebody wants to go on vacation, where should I go? And if you make the experience better for people to understand what they are going to see, it will make the chances of coming to your country, better. So you are competing with countries around the world. That's how you need to look at it. You are competing with countries around the world to bring people here. And once you bring them here, you bring their dollars and their money, and they create even good marketing for you once they are here. And you need to encourage them to use the tools, digital tools, to market for you. So you need, again, we go back to good infrastructure, whether processing or telecommunication, to enable them to do this and use social media. So that's the first thing. The other thing that we're seeing as a enabler is for countries to create what we call a national talent bank. So when tourists come here, they need to be served. They need to be served with people who are trained. So there is a direction now for countries, and this is happening in the UAE, to create a national talent bank. So I need to register people who are in the tourism industry. I need to know their skills, their locations, and I need to create an academy for them to be trained. And this is when we move to the topic of data. So by creating this national database now, you have data about your skills and what people do in the country. And you can sell this data to whoever is interested. So if somebody if a hotel chain comes to Angola and said, I need people who are trained in hospitality business, government can sell them this data and say, I have these people, these are their skills, this is sellable data.
All right.
And the last thing, maybe I'll talk about shortly, is the platforming, meaning aggregating your data sources from different places into one platform for the Ministry of Tourism to look at things holistically and be able to link things together. How many people are coming from the airport? What are their nationalities? Where do they go? Because if you cannot fix something or you cannot improve it unless you measure it. So these kind of platforms are doing this.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Annie. Voltando aqui para mapa.
Going back to the national vision, I come back to Lawrence. We would like you to please engage us about formation in the ministry. Please let us know how are we with tourism to your point of view in Angola. Once again, thank you for this opportunity. Talking more about tourism in Angola, we need to grow more. We have a big field that has to be explored. I have this presentation. They brought us to attention aspects that are quite true. How we start a trip, what the government should do for things to work. Truly, we have this as a national strategy for the development of tourism. But what you must understand, there is a very big limitation towards tourism because we know tourism is not part of the first needs. We debate with this problem with the satisfaction of the primary needs. And because of this, there is a great limitation in the capability financially for people to do tourism. So at this moment, what we're looking for as a public entity, we should prepare to receive those who already do tourism and allow that tourism keeps developing. Talking in statistical terms to have an idea of how things are currently in terms of tourism, internal tourism. talking about tourism of people that are residents in Angola. In 2022, we had about 700 or 800,000 tourists. 800,000 tourists that are residents. In international level, that are people that are coming from other countries to Angola, we had about 120,000. Can you guys see the field that we have? We are talking about 800,000 for the residents, the nationals that are not going out the borders. And it's a very big number. When we talk about international, we're talking about 120,000 people. Before the pandemic and way before the crisis, we were talking about international people, about 800,000 people, 900,000 tourists, not residents, into Angola. Now we went to 120,000. Can you see the difference? We have introduced the document, the plan for tourism that was elaborated in 2020, pointed to the development that until 2020, 4 million tourists. This was the perspectives. Now see 120,000 to 4 million. Where are we? This is the big challenge that we have. And based on what you guys said about what the government is supposed to do, we're trying to make a system that is called sector. It's the system of control of tourists. It has the mission to, in a conversation, we can talk about sector. My next question is, what are the strategies as the government that are being drawn, that are being implemented to be able to get to our targets? But it's a question that you answered just now. We have a problem again with the presentation, so we'll pass to another presentation that is available, which is Lawrence's. The presentation that I pretend to do right now, I'd prefer to do it standing, but okay. Jess already spoke partially about what is my presentation, and CS also gave us another part of what is my presentation, so I'll be quite quick and objective about it. When we talk about okay. Very well. As I was saying, the presentation has a few points that we want to bring to attention. Very few notes that Jess already spoke about. The internet is the way that people are planning and for tourism services like the boarding ticket, the check-in, everything starts with the internet. This is the context of the distribution or the system of tourism distribution. If one side we have the suppliers, on the other side we have the clients. For the clients to be able to get to the suppliers or vice versa, they can be three ways. They can go directly, they can go through travel agencies or the wholesalers who have the mission, of buying from big suppliers and reselling to the in result to this, what they do is the mechanism are the electronic disposables, the telephone, the tablets, the computers. These are the tools that are used to avail the information. Then we have the intervenients, we have the tourists in the middle, the suppliers of services, hotels, transport, restaurants, all these are going to supply services to the tourists. Then, from where can people have the services? It's through the websites. Many of us have used booking.com to buy boarding tickets, for example, or the websites from TAG, for example. We have many applications that are in our life, like the currency or convertible currencies applications to know how much we will need for a different destination. To get to a certain destination, we can use Google Maps or something like that to get to some destination. We have TripAdvisor is another website. They give us a whole lot of services about accommodation, hospitality, or anything else. Some of these are the services that are available that have been mentioned already. In comparison or in relation to what we were saying that has to do with the national context, it's important to mention that globally, we have seen about 7.1 billion people with access to mobile services. 95% of this is part of the population. If we see the population that has access to the internet, we will be able to see that it's 5.3 billion people that represents about 65% of the people. In our case, Intercom database says that there is about 24 billion people with that have telephones, which is about 72%. And in this 72%, only 9.3 million have access to the internet, which is 38.7% of the population. This is the data that they gave us for the tourism field. This data is relevant because for the tourism or the tourists that are resident, about 800,000 people were able to do internal tourism. And if we consider 38% of these people have access to the internet or that manage to request services through applications or internet, it is about 304,000 tourists. Nationally, if we consider 120,000 tourists and 66% have access to the internet, we speak about more or less 72,000 tourists. These numbers is for us to have more or less an idea about the penetration that the tourists have access to the technology. What we are doing now is the system for tourists. It's supposed to give information with the objective to put disposable 5 modules. These 5 modules are the system of management of qualifications for entrepreneurs. It has been since 2022. This system has the objective to formalize and legalize all the services for the tourists. This is the objective, which means today, or if previously, people or operators to be able to have a degree had to go to some ministry. They don't have to do it now. This system has the objective from the comfort of your house, where you have access to the internet, to have access to all the information and be able to have your degree from the comfort of your home. Another system that we are developing and that might start working soon has to do with the inventory and the registering of tourist points. The objective of this is to see to make an inventory of all the tourist points that we have nationally, to put it in one only system so that everybody can have access to this system. This system is accompanied by another one of a reference system, geographic reference for tourism. To combine with the other two systems is going to allow the geographic localization of the touristic offers. Then we have another system that we would like to implement or develop, which is business intelligence, that is called BI. It's a system that permits us to get information on a real basis, so we can know more or less how many people more or less have slept in the lodges, how many people, how much has been in value. These are the types of information that we would like to get from this system. And then another system that also this is the portal for our ministry that is already working and that has the obligation to give information and also promotional information to be there in front for our tourism, for national and internationally. In resume, these are the systems that we are trying to implement. As we spoke of the advantages of the TICs, we're talking about how quick we can get information, how quick things can change. But we also have a few challenges. For example, the lack of trust with the online payments. Also because our tourists or tourism is not as requested. And to conclude or to resume, we have to say that the TICs are necessary in all the levels of economic life. Also that the TICs are indispensable for the tourism industry, and that the entities should, and when I say should, we are working on developing the tourism. To finish everything, there is no way we can make tourism without technology and information. And very shortly, I'd like to show you a video of 1 minute and 10 seconds. It's just 1 minute, just for you to see this video quickly. Let's see if we can be able to view this video. I think from, okay, has, We don't have sound? Technology. So as the video is playing, can we please have a seat, Jesse? This is why we have specialists and technology makers, because we have to make better our connectivity and to modernize our services. Obviously, we do. Are things that other countries or other realities are already using, and we also have to implement, or else we won't be able. One more problem with CS. CS, your presentation is in a format that the display cannot read. They're not able to convert your presentation, so we'll have a few difficulties, or we won't be able to pass your presentation. But would like you to please give us a resume about your presentation. It's not going to be presentable, but you can speak about it.
So my presentation is is a PDF file. So the first thing that one must do when you have technology is you make sure that you can operate standalone, that you're not dependent on the internet, that wherever you are in the middle of nowhere where tourism is practiced, because it needs to be a very interesting destination, you are completely independent from permanent connectivity, because permanent connectivity does not exist in the middle of nowhere. My presentation is about how to apply space technology to tourism. And where there's been many motivations now, both from a top-down perspective, from a government perspective about getting information about the whole country, and bottom-up using technology for reservation systems. So let me give you my background. So I've been in the tourism business maybe as a side interest for the last 28 years. So we started in the middle 90s by developing the first website for South African national parks. So we developed an ecotourism website and booking system for the whole of sub-Saharan Africa, and operated that until about 2008. 2009, I changed my investment in tourism into a guest house, into accommodation, and had the opportunity to use all these systems that has been referred to. So I'm a user of Booking.com from both sides of the coin. So I know Booking.com inside out as a client as a guest house owner, and I know Booking.com as a booker. And technology is absolutely fundamentally the driver for being able to operate tourism and deploy a tourism product very quickly. But it starts with having something to visit in the first place. It's a pity that the video did not have sound, because it's the first time that I see what are the attractions to visit in Angola. So, in the time that we were operating in '95, Angola was not yet open as a tourism destination, so I couldn't study Angola I don't know Angola as well as I know East Africa and the Masai Mara, for example. But what is in my presentation is where do you start with a population that is 60% young people, and they don't have established capital, they don't have established channels, they don't have established anything except their imagination, their ingenuity. Where do they start? And you can start with space technology, providing connectivity everywhere in Angola now with Angosat 2, you can start with a simple tourism hub, and you can use your imagination to take whatever is strange in your environment, whatever is visitable, whatever is communicatable, and get the message across. And using the tourism hub, you can use it also essentially as a business center to start getting the youth involved, young people involved in whatever small tasks are related to tourism, provide training that has been talked about, support people with the technology that they need to communicate effectively to the global market. And what is true today in the global market with internet platforms is that you can be anything you like anywhere in the world. as often as you like. So for me, providing a place where young people in a village can get together, get connected to the internet, and with some training and support and some creative, their imagination, you can start with tourism activity. And what I was showing in my presentation is that you can do it in a way that is very sustainable, building up around the social currency that even engages international travelers to the country, even if they are virtual travelers to the country, to get engaged in the basic economic processes and the joys and the sorrows of a particular village. And then you have created tourism. Tourism is the one way that even if you are a country with the least developed, smallest GDP per capita, tourism is the one way to access the innovation economy immediately. Because people pay $100 to come and do something strange in the middle of nowhere. And there's no way else that you can earn that $100 per person. So if you have a group of 8 people, you have $800 in your pocket for one day of walking through the bush and taking them to the place where your mother grew up. For example, oh, they figured out PDF. Well done. Apologies for that comment. Okay, so visiting Angola, what can you now see if this thing is working? No, most likely not. The next page, please. Yeah. So there's an idea of what a tourism hub can look like, whatever recycled material you have. Next slide. Or was I in control? No, I'm not in control. Okay, next slide, please.
Ajuda aí com o próximo slide. O apontador está com alguma...
Interesting. Okay, that's not how I...
They're just jumping.
No, okay. So this slide here is just, it's about events. So one of the major things that you can organize, wherever you are, given that you have connectivity, is you can organize an event. And if you can convince a famous artist to come and sing at your event in the middle of nowhere, you have already immediately put your little village on the map. It's as simple as that. Okay, I hope that was some inspiration. It just says that you can use all this technology platform, and applying your imagination, applying your creativity, you can create a destination of your village. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your... Ajuda-nos aqui a perceber quais...
Can you please allow us to understand what are the solutions or innovations that we can implement the tourism in Angola based on the experience of what you have been doing already in Cape Town, South Africa?
So there are many global platforms that have already, there was platforms mentioned, there are already many global platforms that have been implemented which focus on certain aspects of tourism. So for example, let's take accommodation, booking.com. So in accommodation, to go on Google and publish your accommodation and try to be number one on a search engine optimization for your specific location. If you are the only house in town, it's fantastic. But typically if you are in Luanda and you have lots of competition, then it's much easier to go onto booking.com and then people go there to look for accommodation in Luanda. Now the next question is, how do you stand out? Okay? Now the simplest strategy is to make sure that your cost, your price, quality measure is the best in your category. Because there's always somebody that's going to sort on lowest cost, and then they go through all the backpackers. No, it's not me. Oh, here's an hotel. Okay, this looks interesting. The score is decent. I book it. So whatever you have, if you position yourself to be the best price item in a certain category, you will always have. And so, given that a few people have stayed there and written reviews about you that are positive, that's a condition. So it takes a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, unless you have some aces up your sleeve to get there. But once you are there and you manage your price correctly, you will have, whatever the occupancy in town is, you will have that same the best occupancy available. So that's the simplest way of using it.
Ok. Eu vou já deixar uma pergunta também aqui a Jéssica Madalena.
I'm going to leave a question for Jesse Madalena. Jesse, I would like to understand, using these tools, technological tools, how can it use or help our country for development in our economy and the ecosystem of tourism?
To you. Queria agora perceber com o Eni
which are the tendencies, global tendencies, that we use the information technology to support tourism. We know technology not always is the business. It's a way we use. Which are the tendencies in the world that exist already to support tourism? Thank you for the question, Osvaldo. It's interesting, and I liked the website that was presented. But I understood that the website is just one of the platforms that can be used. And there are many more others, and some that are very modern. For example, the digital platforms that are like the social networks, and it's very good because on the website, it's for tourists that already have an interest to go to Angola, for example. But in the other platforms, it has the power to stimulate the interest. For example, showing interest or to showing. For example, I have no interest in visiting Angola. I'm on some platform looking for any video, and a video comes on my page showing touristic video about Angola. That can automatically trigger the interest. It would help Angola with the social, cultural, and economically because it would attract tourism and maybe investors as well, because tourism is not only for tourism, but also people have interest in maybe investing but need to know more about this country. That's why there is the importance of having the TICs, and tourism is in the middle to be able to show this. Tourism is interconnected with culture. Some activities in the middle of nowhere, some countries have a lot of potential for tourism. Like in Angola, we have the 7 wonders of Angola, and there are places that we could try and develop interesting things to the point to attract people from other countries to come and do these different activities.
So trends. I think, judging from where I live in Dubai, when I want to visit a new country for the first time, the first thing I think about is it safe?
Safety.
Yes. And that's why Dubai marketed itself as one of the most safe cities in the world. So when somebody wants now to come to Dubai, and this over the years, they never ask the question, is it safe to come to Dubai? Never. Because they have established this brand, this reputation. It's a safe city. And of course, safety is, you can, the basic way to do safety is surveillance. Surveillance, but not surveillance just the basic one. Surveillance with analytics. And this is now becoming a trend where you use surveillance not only for safety, but to collect information. Okay, because cameras, once you deploy them, they become your eyes everywhere. You can make things safe, and typically when people see cameras and they feel safe, but you also can collect information about people. Where do they go? If you have a touristic place, you put cameras for safety, but you also put cameras to see people spend 60% of their time in here, in this location. Okay? And this becomes a trigger for the government, for example, to sell spaces around this for local businesses who want to sell their merchandise to the tourist. So it all revolves around data and knowledge. Another trend that we're seeing also, and again, this is from Dubai, involved the airline. A few months ago, Emirates Airlines, in the airline business, they have stores, customer service stores, but they're becoming dull and they're trying to revive them. One of the ideas they had is, in the Emirates offices around the world, they want to have a corner with VR, AR, where you can experience UAE and Dubai without going there. You're sitting in, I don't know where, you can go and experience it at the airline location, because you're coming there to their national airline. And this can be a two-way, conversation. I advertise the airline and I advertise the country. And both are winning, because people use the airline to the country, government brings, again, hard currency. So that's thing. And again, joint marketing with the local enterprises. You are a local enterprise here. I contribute to the marketing of the country with the government. I advertise my business, whatever it is, and then I bring people. And a very important thing that actually I just wrote, listening to the conversation, is regulation. When I heard about, for example, Airbnb. Is Airbnb allowed here? What are the regulations? Again, taking the model of the UAE. So UAE, has two choices: either ban Airbnb and say no Airbnb in UAE, or they said no, we cannot ban it. It's a global trend. We have to play with it.
Yeah.
But the way they did is they regulated it. So if you want to have an Airbnb, you go and apply for an individual tourism license. Okay? And there's a platform for this. So you apply, you pay the fees, and now you are allowed to do short-term rental for your property in Dubai. And you are obliged by the law to tell the government who's staying in your apartment, because they want to know who is staying, because they want, again, statistics, data. So I can tell them, Jessie rented my apartment, she's from Angola, she rented it from this time to this time. All of this data flows into one place for decision makers to make decisions. You mentioned going from 800,000 to 120,000 of external tourists. That's a big drop. The first thing I want to understand is why. And why is data. And that's something actually in Dell we can do. We can build platforms to analyze data. For example, the business intelligence you mentioned, this is something that we help build. Integrating several systems, creating correlation between them, and then to understand what is happening.
Yeah, boas. Thank you, Annie. Lourenço, peguei aqui duas palavras-chave e uma...
Lourenço, I got two kids from Annie. I believe at level of ministry as regulator, number one, integration of services with partners in order to ensure security. And when a tourist comes, is it safe to make tourism in Angola? That's the question number one. We'd like to understand, as a ministry official, how are we in terms of security? And I'd like also to understand the partnership that you should do with publicizers. Do they publicize the products and as well the tourist site? So what is your vision during this partnership? Of course, it is a challenge. I also understood that there are very good suggestions from Annie. When you talk about the integration of systems, data collection, so we are now doing that. That's why we have BI, business intelligence. We have these missions to collect data and then to make it available, whether to the decision makers, private sectors, all those ones that are interested in order to make decisions, even at level of investment. For example, how are we in terms of international arrivals, the hotels, the accommodations? If these informations are available for everyone, will facilitate easily the investment itself. So regarding to the security, security is a relative one. Let's see in terms of statistics, we can comparison. Our country is secure. Do not resist many people coming to our country and had a serious problem to the criminal. So we need to keep on working in order to improve and make the country a tourism destination. So let's now go to SIAS. I was researching and I have seen about Elon Musk. Are you from South Africa? Elon Musk is South African citizen as well. He has been using the satellite for tourism around the world on the space. Now, who want to go to Mars? You can talk to Elon Musk, and Heaven Man, of course, he's doing in geography where they have this opportunity. Going back to Africa, can we use another innovative technology in order to boost the tourism in Africa, as well as Elon Musk has been doing in the US and Canada?
So most of the visitors to Africa actually come from authentic wildlife which people come to visit in Africa. Because people can actually remember it, they can recall it, people from outside Africa. So if you want to communicate climate change effectively to the visitors to Africa, then I would use the natural areas which they came to visit in the first place, because they'll be able to make the connection. So maybe it's not the answer that you want, but if we want to be effective in communicating the impact in Africa of things like climate change, we need to go back to what people can remember, and maybe even use it as a last chance to visit Mars, last chance to visit the Vic Falls. It's going to run dry, for example. So I would use that as a marketing campaign.
Ok, obrigado. Já mesmo a terminar, agora nossa hora do almoço, ia pedir uma recomendação para cada de vocês. O que é que nós podíamos recomendar?
Last recommendation. So I'd like to ask you to give recommendation. How should we explore better tourism by using technology? 1 minute for one of you. So I will start with lady. Jessica, last recommendation for explore better our tourism with technology. Number one, improve the tourism dissemination using technology, creating websites that could help to ensure security for the future visitors. I enjoyed a lot of talent data bank, using those people that are tourism promoters, creating a database and work together. I think they will really achieve good achievement. And you have the flow.
And skills. Enable local skills so that the 120,000 who are coming to Angola have a spectacular experience. Enable the skills to publicize, to serve the tourists in a better way. And actually, I'll give you an example from a country I visited, which was really spectacular to me. You have you have natural wonders here. It's 2 minutes. I'll probably charge you $20. You will pay $20 because you're coming from Europe, from the US. Maybe it's a one time you're gonna come here. You'll pay the $20. The guy just made $20 from a tourist with a job that is 15 minutes.
Okay.
That's something, I'm saying. So skills, and technology skills, so they can also see what's happening in the world and copy and learn.
Exactly.
Yes.
Copy and paste.
Copy paste.
Vou deixar aqui a oportunidade para o Cias.
Give the floor to Sia.
What I showed in my presentation, which you could only see a few slides of, is in fact a platform which has been developed where people, every single community in Angola can go and write up their jewels of their environment, what is special to visit there. They can promote their own products, they can promote their own services, and they can connect it to the social impact in that community. So I would roll that platform out into every village of Angola.
Excelente. Lourenço, e no final tu, como também o...
Lawrence, now you are last as a regulator and our host. What are your last recommendation to promote tourism using technology? Indeed, I would see a project that who have to do, but in angle who has to offer. We as entity, we have to offer. We do have a project so-called Together for Tourism. This project has 3 phases. Number 1, tourism awareness, because when we talk about tourism, look at the room. It's empty. One date. We need to keep on talking about tourism because it's a very relevant economic area. Number 2, to value the tourism offer. We can't take all the countries, not possible. We have poles, at least 3, Kalandula, Polo, Kabuledu, and Okavango. We need to take these 3 poles and to turn it really tourism destination. Number 1, using technology to say we are here and is able to use to make tourism in Angola. Unfortunately, as Dr. Lorenzo mentioned, when we talk about tourism, we have this impact. We need to promote more. Thank you all. Thank you, our speakers. You are welcome. Let's go now for lunch. Next time, let's put our panel in the morning. We will have audience to publicize tourism and get revenue for the country. Thank you all for coming.
Olhe para frente, para longe, para cima. O futuro chegou com a conectividade e modernização tecnológica. Angotic 2023, o maior evento de tecnologia de Angola, regressa em junho. Venha descobrir todas as tendências da tecnologia em 3 dias de conferências, com oradores nacionais e internacionais, mais de 100 expositores e muito entretenimento. Inscreva-se já no Angotic 2023, porque o futuro já chegou. Uma iniciativa do Ministério das Telecomunicações, Tecnologias de Informação e Comunicação Social, Governo de Angola.
Right now, scientists studying coral reefs are collaborating on Dell Technologies' most intelligent PCs, powered by Intel V Pro. Our secure portfolio of devices are empowering scientists to gather valuable insights from tourist photos. So protecting coral reefs for future generations is within reach.
Shelves. Shelves that know what taste buds want. Shelves smart enough to see, sense, react, restock. So Caramel Swirl is always there for the taking.
What will you do? What will you change? Will you make something better? Will you create something entirely new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with the tools and expertise you need to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us.
There's an innovator in all of us, and your brightest ideas can come in an instant. We'll stop at nothing to provide intelligent technology that optimizes user experience, strengthens security, and maximizes your storage, so you can bring your greatest ideas to life.
confidently.
Está à procura de um espaço para a produção do seu podcast? No MS Studio Podcast encontras o espaço ideal para a produção do seu podcast.